Alright, let's get it started. Okay. Alright, we're gonna get started. Alright guys, I see some new faces, some returners. Super happy. I'm super stoked for this meeting today, guys. There's some really good questions, so let's keep the participation up and lots of debates. So keep it respectful too. Okay, so by show of hands, who's familiar with New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani? Okay, perfect. If you're not, he's a democratic socialist and he embodies a new wave of economic philosophy he calls democratic socialism. Just to get a basis, I'm going to share a couple of statistics. Right now, we're at a 15-year low. 54% of the US is in favor of capitalism versus socialism. That's down from 60% in 2021. 31% of younger Democrats holding a positive view on capitalism, and 74% of younger Republicans.
Good stats. I'm Ben, I'm your other co-president. Great to see everybody. Last meeting of the semester, just to recap, this club was here last year. We averaged a whopping, 6 members a meeting? Okay, now we're averaging 40, it looks like, which is phenomenal. It's going to continue to grow through the second semester. Going into the second semester, you have guest speakers coming in. We have local business leaders, and then the mayor of Temecula actually maybe coming in. Yeah, that's my reaction. So we're going to put that in the PAC. We're going to have some big events, more public debates. We're thinking of doing prove me wrong debates on the senior lawn, which would be huge. So get some speakers, get some security, and then it's going to be great. And there's just more growth. We're going to continue to grow this. Just get new people, right? Extra. Get some new people in there. We're going to continue to grow this. Just so thank you for being a part of it for the first semester. We've taken this from very little last year to something huge, and I'm very thankful. It's because of y'all we can do that. So thank you. And now on to Jazzy for the verse of the week. Give it up, Jazzy.
Okay, so the verse I chose is Romans 5:8, which says, "But God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." This verse is so special because in life there are certain expectations we have to meet, whether that's for sports, academically, or just life in general. But this verse is a reminder that in our relationship with God, we don't have to be perfect in order for him to use or forgive us. God didn't wait for us to be good enough to send his only son to die for us, but he acted out of love. So whenever you feel like you don't deserve the grace of God, maybe you don't, maybe you're right, but you still have it. So be grateful for what he has been given to you. So for what he has given to you, and pass it forward. Also a reminder, we have club this week in room 301. We will be decorating some Christmas cards. Hope to see us there.
So just an overview on what socialism is if you don't know what it is already. So it's a political and economic theory that advocating that a community, like often the state or workers, should own and manage resources, industry, and capital rather than private individuals to ensure wealth is distributed more equally.
So then comparing socialism versus capitalism. Socialism is all about collective ownership, so that means society instead of individuals will own things. Resource sharing and social welfare programs. You see a lot in the Nordic states and Europe. But however, it risks stagnation because when there's this lack of competition, we'll debate about this, there can potentially be lack of innovation, which can keep an economy stagnant and flat instead of increasing. Whereas capitalism, we have private ownership, obviously private property, land, property, anything of that nature, free markets, and then it's all about competition, competing for the best products to innovate and to make something better. And however, it does risk inequality with upper, middle, and lower classes as you see in a lot of modern capitalistic societies. So today, we're going to be debating. You want to explain the rules, just similar to last time?
Okay, so the question will be displayed on the board, and so think in your head about your opinion, and then talk about your opinion with the people around you. And then 2 to 4 people will step up to the podium, and each side will present their argument. And then after the opening arguments, we'll have rebuttals, and then whoever wants to pitch in with any additional thoughts can.
And anyone that speaks today, we have these, so they're full size, just so you know. Yeah, we're breaking the budget right now. So you want to start with the first question?
Okay, so the first question is inequality in an inevitable part of any economic system.
So talk about it in your groups for about a minute.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and let's get our debate started. Are we done with our conversations? Good. Good. All right. So let's send volunteers up to the middle, and you guys can argue your points.
Yeah, come on up, come on up, come on up. Anyone else? Oh yeah, here, can you get the camera? Yeah, we'll make sure it's all in the audio.
So my argument is there's technically going to be inequality in any system, but there's a difference between inequality regarding like the amount of wealth that a person possesses and unfairness. And I think that it is fair for some people to have more wealth than other people because there's a difference in the quality and value of the services that they can provide to other people. And I was talking about this in my group when I said that a person who flips burgers at McDonald's is going to make less because the services that they are providing to other people are not as valuable as, for example, someone who performs surgical procedures on other people or owns a company that provides a lot of goods to other people.
Yeah, I gotta agree. There's always gonna be inequality, not just because, some people have more opportunities than others, but also just because some people are more ambitious than others and just simply want more. I think a great example of this would be, I think a lot of people here are seniors. I know we're reading Into the Wild in English, and there's a lot of people who are just like that, who don't really want wealth or material. They kind of want to be, with nature is, I guess, a good way to say it. And so imagine you have somebody who is born into a family of, wealthy stockbrokers, or just one who really doesn't chase wealth at all. Despite them possibly being the same and being just as ambitious, one doesn't have the opportunities of the other, not of any fault of their own, but just simply because of the choices their parents made, even if the parents are completely happy.
So, does anyone have a rebuttal to anything that was said between the two of them? Anything? I can bring the microphone to your seat if you want. Any rebuttals? Why are y'all looking around? You instigating over here? Any rebuttals to anything that was said? No? Alright, awesome. On to the next question. So, awesome. Next question. Is wealth redistribution, as in the socialist way, redistributing wealth, is that fair or is it a violation of freedom and property rights? You can go ahead and discuss.
Alright guys, we're gonna get started on the next debate. Alright, we're gonna get started on the next debate.
We're going to bring the mic around, Steve, this time. So if you have something to say, just raise your hand and we'll start bringing it around. So we'll start over here.
I think that it's fair to a certain extent because there are some people that don't have malicious intent with their money and they use it for good, but there are certain people who weren't given the same opportunities as others, or who use their money for malicious intent. And I feel like if you were to take that away from people who not deserve it but use it for good or use it for natural rights, it's not fair. But also, if there's someone who wasn't given the same opportunities in third world countries, they should deserve their natural rights to be fulfilled also.
Yeah, I agree that redistribution is fair when it's to a certain extent, and it is for the rights of the people, because when so many people are buried in medical and student debt, I don't think that there should be people who have so much money where they don't even have legitimate things to do with it, despite spending it for ego spending. And I think that is when it should be taken if they don't donate to the people. I think it should be taken and redistributed to where it does better the majority of the people.
We'll go you second, you first, because we are already.
All right, just two quick things. Wait, I low-key forgot one, never mind. Student debt is 100% optional. Not everyone is forced into taking out loans to go to college. It is 100% optional on their choice. So yeah, that's all I have.
That's really what I heard, and then we'll come back here after.
Okay, so what I heard said was that if people have money that they don't need or that they are using for purposes that are like unnecessary and frivolous, what I heard is that it's the right of the government to take some of that money. And I would say that I disagree with that because it's people's right under a capitalist system to own whatever wealth they want, and I don't think that, or if the power to decide what money is deserved and what money isn't is given to the government, I think it's really easy for the government to be able to abuse that power. And I don't know, I guess that's it. Thank you.
Back over here.
To his point, I would say that a lot of students, like, they don't know that they have other options to where they don't have to take out student loans. And they just get riddled with debt because they believe that is the right way to go about things and that they will be able to earn back the money through their career in order to pay it off. But there are often times where, like, the interest just makes it so that they, like, I forget what it's called exactly, but they eventually have to pay off more than they originally took out. And sometimes it even gets compounded to where after you finish college, you still have to pay off more money than you originally, like, were given. And then also, I say that's a fair statement, but I think there should be a cap to how much you should be able to buy material goods that don't really benefit society. I think that, like, just the health of the people should be put above that to a certain extent.
I think to clarify the point too, I think when you saying that it's not, that it's a choice, I think the choice is not going to college. It's taking up a trade or something like that.
Okay, so I would say I agree that people should definitely be more aware that college is not the right choice for every person, especially if they want to go into a profession that does not require a college career. But I think that the solution to that would probably be to provide more information about that instead of redistributing wealth to allow people to pay for the education that they didn't really need. And then I also, to your second point of there should be like a limit to how much wealth people should have. I'm curious as to what like number or quantity of wealth you would be willing to set for that, because I feel like it's really easy to sort of set a line and then push it a little more into abuse, I guess, and being able to
Just to change it to benefit yourself.
I guess so, and basically, I don't trust the government to be able to decide a good point to keep people at in terms of what they can possess. And also they have a right to own wealth as long as they're not using it to harm other people. And I don't know, if there's somebody that you don't think should have wealth, you're completely able to stop supporting them and giving them money. You can also maybe express yourself and say, hey, I think this person should give to this cause or whatever. And that's within your right, but it's not within your right to take their money because you think that it is better spent somewhere else.
That's a good idea.
Alright, we're gonna do a lot for
We have like a minute for you to say.
Well, under every communist society, we've seen that the government has allocated a set number of funding to each individual person, and we see that each of those people starve to death and they die and they can't get any medical coverage, and they end up fleeing those countries, such as Brody and his mom.
Holy pass off. Holy pass off. Exactly.
Go!
Alright, go, we have like...
Go!
What was I gonna say? I think what she was trying to say was that if the government is the one deciding, where the wealth cap is, the government is quite wealthy. I mean, you have a lot of insider trading and they take a lot of super PAC money. So you can't really set a limit on how much money one person's allowed to have because the people with all the money are going to end up deciding that. So it feels a little useless.
All right, good job.